Hi guys, I'm Shmi, and you probably recognise the background behind me because we're back at the Geneva Motorshow, and of course on the Koenigsegg stand where the one of one is behind me and the Regera is just over there. Now you might be wondering why I'm back here, seeing as in my last video on the Shmi 150 channel I actually just drove back to London. Well, unfortunately my mother was in nearby Geneva on holiday, had an accident and was in hospital, so I'd flown down, came down to visit her, but while I was here obviously it made sense to come in the Motorshow. Fortunately all is well with her, she's going to be fine. But it seemed like a nice idea to come down. So I'm here for the day today, a public day at the Motor Show. Now I haven't actually been to a public day at a Motor Show, I think since maybe, oh sorry, I'm losing my voice, since maybe 2010, 2011, so this is an interesting experience for me, just seeing how it all works. Naturally I stopped off here at Koenigsegg first because, well, they make these rather spectacular machines, and I did a full walk around with Christian von Koenigsegg when I was down here last week for the press day. So we have the one of one, which is the final edition. There will be 3 one of ones, each of which are different cars to each other, to sort of finalize the Agera model line after the 25 Agera RSs, like this very car, were all sold out. And then it's on to the future, and that means the Regera, of which there are going to be 80, and I'm hearing some pretty impressive figures regarding how many of these have already been purchased, so there aren't actually that many lying around to buy. And this one in the candy apple red is such a beautiful colour. I'm sure you can see it on the camera. It is truly, truly astonishing. And it has the auto skin, of course, all the doors that automatically open up, the front and rear clam that open themselves up. I've demonstrated all of that with Christian. But because today is the public day at the Motor Show, I'm going to kind of show you a little bit more about how these shows work as I learn myself. That's quite cool, just seeing it there with the bonnet being closed down. One interesting thing lots of people observed from my coverage was the wheels that differ from side to side. Okay, automatic doors are the coolest things in the world. So you've got the carbon fibre wheels on this side, and around the other side you've got the new design. Although it's quite reminiscent, of course, of Koenigsegg's earlier wheels. But the reason companies do this with different wheels is so that you can visualise and see the different options available on a car. So it's quite a normal thing at motor shows to have cars like this with the different wheels on them. So today's plan is to pop around, have a look at lots of the cars here, because there is a lot that I haven't seen, that I haven't really taken in. Things like going to see Ferrari's GTC4 Lusso, you know, an update to the FF, a car that's of a lot of interest to me. Maybe I'll want to change mine in a couple of years' time. McLaren's 570 GT, very, very perfect car for the kind of tours I do. Aston Martin's new DB11, a massive car, one I want to look at in more detail, and just so many things I didn't really get to take in. So that's what today's going to be about. We're checking out the Motor Show on a public day, Geneva 2016. One of the biggest differences coming to the show on a public day rather than the press days is the crowds and the barriers. That's actually 2 differences, but the barriers obviously mean that you can't just walk freely onto the stands because they've got to keep everyone back, otherwise it would be carnage. The number of people here mean it takes a very long time to walk anywhere. As you can see, I'm trying to get through here and see that. Bugatti Chiron, if you can hear me there. But it's going to be a little bit challenging to get there, and it's very hard to see very much even when you do. Just look at these crowds actually, look at how many people here to take photos of that car, and it's not really surprising because the Chiron is pretty much the car of the show. Well, certainly the hypercar story. Released here, 1500 horsepower, 1600 newton meters, absolutely crazy mental car, 500 being built. I guess they've probably already sold over 200 of them, which is fairly insane. So let me try and point my camera over at this. That's pretty much as good as we're going to get of the Chiron here on a public day. Sorry. Welcome to the Porsche stand, where we're next to the new 911R, again behind the barriers. Now this is an interesting thing about these kind of days, because obviously they can't just let everybody up here. You have to have sort of a reason, or maybe an invitation from your dealer to come up and have a look. So I'm actually here with a friend, Sam, who is over there. He's appeared on video, and between us we own a number of Porsches. I'm explaining how you come up here and how we have multiple cars. So I have a GT4, as everybody watching this knows, and he has a GT3 RS and a GT4. So coming up here is a case of asking, coming and taking a look, and being allowed onto the back of the stand. And the 911R is next to the 718 Boxster. But I'm going to come around quickly and show you the interior of the 911R.
because this is certainly an interesting place. 918 bucket seats, but look at the interior trim. It's rather bold, but this is a manual gearbox, 500 horsepower, engine from the GT3 RS. This thing, 991 being made, of course, codename 991, is gonna be amazing. I would love one so much, but you basically need to be in Porsche's VIP program or get a special invitation to buy one. So you never know, Mr. Porsche, if you are watching, I would very much like one of these, please. This is the Lamborghini Centenario, the car that has been introduced to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Ferruccio Lamborghini's birth, of course, the company founder. They're going to be building 20 coupes, 20 roadsters, and it's going to cost over €1 million a car. It's the LP770-4, it shares the 6.5-litre V12 from the Aventador, but obviously it has a complete carbon fibre body. And we're staying on the outside of the stand because we're getting a pretty good view of the car as it spins around on the turntable. As you can see, one of the things with cars on the turntable is that people do walk on, and you can't really beat that. That works both ways if you want to see the car up close. But this thing is pretty crazy, pretty insane. Hopefully be able to see some of them in the future. Yeah, we knew it was coming, but nothing was shown before Geneva. And then over at the back, over there, you can see the Huracan Aveo, which is the limited edition version of the Huracan LP610-4 in the satin blue paintwork, and there are only 250 of those being made. But maybe I should have gone on, because then I would have got a better look. It's just how the motor shows work. It's kind of cool though, because they've got these big screens at the back, which between showing the video and demonstrating all sorts of showing sort of live Twitter stream and stuff of things people are posting, which is quite cool. Nice way to integrate the crowd at the motor show behind all the big screens. It is also absolutely boiling hot on the stands, which is one reason not to go on, because you kind of feel like you're going to melt. This is one I had a look at when I was down here before, but nowhere nearly enough of a look at. This is the new Apollo Arrow. So what was formerly Gumpert, who made the old Apollos, like the Apollo N that is over there, has now been brought out and relaunched as just Apollo. This is their sort of concept introduction of the Arrow. And I really have to say, this thing just looks insane. It's bonkers design, no question about that. So of course we can't entirely imagine how the sort of final car will look, but all the sort of design work and the shapes and aero at play, and the thing just looks insane. Like, I think, for example, you can't on a road car have a wing that hangs out over the back of the car like that. But I'm sure it's been turning a lot of heads, and it's a monster, absolute monster. Over 1,000 horsepower, and typical Gumpert, or now Apollo ethos of not very much weight to it as well. So I'm kind of glad I'm standing here taking a proper look at this thing, because I sort of missed that before, and that's one of the reasons why it's fun to come back, because this is mental.
The next stand on our tour of today is back at Pagani to take a look, of course, at the Huayra BC, the tribute to Benny Caiola, Horacio Pagani's first Sonda customer. After he passed a few years back when he owned a number of Paganis, but the BC is like the special edition, already sold 20 cars. Actually, the 20 customers had paid 50% deposits for their cars before they had even seen it, so massive commitment to Horacio's creation. The BC is like the modern version of the Cinque, so the Cinque to the Pagani Zonda is the BC to Huayra, of course, and another car on the stand is the normal Huayra, now with the Pacchetto Tempesta, which is like a performance upgrade pack with new diffuser, front bumper, new wheels, new exhaust system, revised suspension geometry. It's a sort of pack that people can purchase for their existing Huayras, so it's kind of cool as well. But it's fun to be wandering around here at the Pagani stand, just taking a look at the cars and seeing what's going on, talking to them, of course, seeing if we can line anything up that's fun for me to do with this car at some point in the future, perhaps. Keep my fingers crossed on that one. Would be very, very exciting, so let's hope. We've had lunch back at Koenigsegg, but the next stand we're going to be going to is Ferrari. Now, naturally, Ferrari always has an absolutely insane crowd around it, and you can basically never get inside unless you come prepared with one of these, and this should hopefully do the job and have us go straight in. So we're going to head over to the entrance and see if we can go on and have a look. done, and I must confess I did actually have an invitation from my Ferrari dealer who had arranged for us to come. I think they have to scan that in and check that you're on the list.
But the reason we are here now is to take a look at this in a little bit more detail, the GTC4 Lusso. So you probably know I have a Ferrari FF, that is the car for which I had my key out a second ago. And this is the updated car, so it's 29 brake horsepower more, slightly revised looks. I actually really like the new look at the front end, the new lights. It's a little bit more like the sort of F12 kind of style around the grille as well. Inside is changed big time. I'll jump into the interior in a second. But otherwise it's much the same. All-wheel drive, 4-seater, lots of comfort. Lovely, lovely car. So, yeah. I'm going to take a proper poke around and have a look at the inside.
Sat back inside GTC4 Lusso then, and this is the car I sat inside when I made my first video from the Geneva show last week. And the coolest thing in here, which I showed before, is the dual screen setup, which has this screen for the passenger where you can literally, it's just running in demo mode now, but you can touch it and poke and do all sorts of things. But the entertainment side of things in this car is awesome. The steering wheel has this like aluminium piece around the middle, and I would definitely want to change that to carbon fiber. Even though it is aluminium, it somehow sort of looks almost a bit plasticky. So I'd have this carbon, the carbon shift lights across the top like I have in my FF, and the carbon down the bottom. But other than that, it feels very nice. Noticing the paddles feel slightly smaller as well. Always nice having big paddles. Not entirely sure about this center console, which feels almost a little bit flimsy, but then it does have the upside of some pretty good storage behind it there. But all in all, this is a very nice evolution. Door handles on these pieces here, which are pretty cool too, and then you've got the nice grab handles there. So the whole inside of the car feels very, very nice. Panoramic roof. The rear hasn't changed too much since FF. It has options like the Apple CarPlay USB socket in here, but it feels good. I'd spec it very similar to mine. Blue Scuro at the top, Crema at the bottom. This is nice. I think down the line one of these would do the job quite well. Just don't think I can quite stomach the loss. New Ferrari 4-seat V12 engine cars do have a tendency to not go the right way from new. So yeah. A scary one to own from new, but maybe if someone were to spec it up in blue and crema now, maybe in a year or two's time, I might be able to buy it off them. We shall see. While I'm at Ferrari, take a look at these. These are the Amalgam car models, and they are truly awesome. Cost a couple of £1,000s, but you can have them sort of replicated to your spec. And Amalgam do a number of car companies, of course, but by far and away their biggest is Ferrari. And the F12 TDF there is looking very nice. If I come right here, we'll pass the steering wheel from the Formula 1 car, which is also rather cool. You get an FXXK as well, and these are spectacular, like the perfect accessory to go with a really nice car, so it's very nice to see those. They actually have quite a few set up here, but back in the lounge, and I'm not going to take my camera in there today. We will go in and grab ourselves a quick drink while we are here. After Ferrari, we're trying to make our way over towards McLaren, which means coming past Maserati on that side and past Aston Martin on that side, and it's chaos. There are lots and lots of people here. I'm rather hoping it's going to be an easy game to go visit McLaren. I don't actually have an official invite. I do have my second key of the day. I do have my Porsche key as well, which will be loaded up today, so I'm hoping this is going to be no issue to go in here and have a look at 570 GT and everything else, but we shall see in a moment. The key did the trick here then. There is actually a queue because McLaren are letting everybody come on and see the cars if you join the queue, but if you have a car key, you're part of the McLaren owners sort of club, you can come straight in and have a look around the stand. So that is exactly what we did. Now on my sort of full show video I showed you the new car, the 570 GT. Here of course is the 675 LT Spider, which is the car that is of importance to me, given that I have now completed the specification of my Spider, due to be delivered to me in summer, and I am going to show you and reveal the spec of my car in not very long, so that's coming soon. But of course any opportunity for me to come and see it I absolutely love. Just, well, you know, it's my future car and I'm going to do some good miles and some good trips in it, and I'm really excited to show you the specification of it. The other thing here that's particularly popular is the full carbon P1 from MSO. So full visual carbon fiber panels. Of course the P1 is carbon fiber always. Here it is visual carbon. You can see the weave in the bodywork. It's taken a while to make the car because obviously the shapes around the scoops and things have been proven a lot of work.
but especially with the sort of blue lacquered carbon here against the black, it just looks amazing sat in race mode as well. And these panels are things you can buy for any existing P1, so P1 owners can go to MSO and buy the new panel set for their car. And yeah, I would probably recommend it because this thing just looks absolutely insane. I can't quite get my camera off it, but if I meander back through past the LT Spider, got to watch out for these moving turntables in motor shows, to the 570 GT, again another car I showed you. So this is one of those examples of why I wanted to come back here today to probably take a look around, because this is a car that I'm obviously quite interested in, just in terms of what it stands for, bringing McLarens to a new price point with the Sports Series in general, but the GT having that extra luggage space with this sort of trick rear canopy where you can put luggage in through the back, where it opens up to the side, like you can see on this car actually. Let's come around and just show you that one. So yeah, it's a perfect sort of tourer car. Slightly softer suspension, steering, new tyre compound, quieter exhaust note, but you can option the sports exhaust versus the 570S, but a pretty nice car. Let me see if this one's open, have a look around the interior. Oh, that car's not open, so you'd have to have a look at the one on the turntable. But the inside of here is pretty nice with the beige against the sort of teal, blue, green sort of paintwork. I actually really like that colour too. So I'm going to take a good poke around 570 GT before we will head for our next drink of the day, another glass of champagne in the owner's part here at the McLaren stand, which turns out to be a good day. After McLaren, our next stand is Aston Martin. Now, when I was here during the press days, I had a good look at this car, the DB11, shot a piece fully going over that and showing you everything exterior and interior. I just had a look at something new that I hadn't seen before though in the boot, which I'll try and show you in a second. I'll glance at the interior and I'll show you the boot as well. A quick look at the inside, because of course I did whistle through this in my full video of the DB11, but it is a really, really nice place now with the triple displays for the instrumentation, and obviously some new look, well, parts you might recognise of course from Mercedes, but things that you know are going to work very, very well inside the DB11. Yeah. You open the boot with a button on the door, but what I wanted to show you is the way the air comes through here, so you can literally see all the way through the side of the car. So that comes through, it's sent up the car from the curlicues here, just in the front rear, our front arches, swirls the air up through the side vent here, and it comes out through the back there. The boot itself actually is quite big, it goes back a fairly decent distance. Then at the rear, that airflow comes up through this central bit with this mini spoiler that rises a couple of centimetres out of the boot to control it, so that's kind of cool. Random thing to see here at the Aston stand. This was another interesting stand to get on. Obviously it helps that I have an Aston in my family, so I was on the list already, but that's a lot of what Geneva is about. Or if you come to motor shows, if you know the right person, it's very easy and you have an amazing time, you get a glass of champagne everywhere. We were running over my LT Spider spec at the McLaren stand with champagne, which is always fun. So we're going to go for a little bit of more of a wander and see what else is around. If you come over to check out the more mainstream manufacturers, they tend to be open. So cars like the M2, which I didn't actually even see at all. I never came over here to have a look at it during press days. You can just wander up to it and have a look. And this colour, Long Beach Blue, which I notice actually my video camera makes look a lot darker than it looks in person because of how the pearlescent effect works, is absolutely lovely. Really, really nice colour. Interesting with the darker blue brake calipers on it too, but the reviews have just come out for M2 and they've all been very, very positive, of course. So I imagine it's a lot of fun. Hopefully I'll get an opportunity to drive one in the not too distant future. But it's stuff like this is why I love coming back for today, just because I can take a little bit longer, take a look at all the cars, see stuff like this that I didn't necessarily get to take in at all on the press days because I was running around like literally like a headless chicken. Take a look at sort of some of the sort of more mainstream questions, cars, that you guys tend to ask me lots of questions about or comments about, and we can talk about them. It's getting towards the end of the day and I'm going to wrap up my coverage there of what it's like coming to the Geneva Motorshow on a public day. It's been a really interesting day for me because I've been able to sit down, take a good look, go visit McLaren, talk about LT Spider, go visit all these companies, have a good look at cars like the M2. I also went to take a look at the Ford GT. I don't think I put that on camera. Some really cool stuff, and of course just generally take them in a little bit more detail. GTC4 Lusso, new stuff from Koenigsegg, Pagani, all this kind of stuff, because it is so manic on the press days here when I'm trying to make these videos, shoot the videos, have a look around. So this has been quite nice. Sit down, talk to people at the car companies as well, And of course an interesting one, just sort of learning about how it works, visiting the stands and that kind of thing, what it's like. And this obviously feels really, really cool for me to be able to have the access and be able to sort of visit stands and also, to be honest, catch up with loads of you guys. I have taken so many selfies today with different people, so thanks to everyone that I spoke to or caught up with here, and to all of you who are watching this video in the first place. Yeah, so a pretty good day for a spontaneous visit back to the Geneva Motor Show. One I didn't plan for, but it looks like things are going well for my mother, which is one of the most important things, of course. So yeah, I've had a good day. I'm going to be catching a flight now back to London for more fun stuff. I can tell you the rest of this month is shaping up to be pretty busy as well, so I'm very excited about it. So make sure you're subscribed, check it all out, and I will catch up with you again very soon. Cheers! Okay, so here we go, P1 time. Got the lift system up already, that's going to make it easy to get. If Porsche offered me a GT3 RS, I would not take a second to think about buying one. Let's jump in.